Yeah, I mean, we'll see. See what's going to happen. Last but not least, Stephen A. Smith went on Vinny yesterday, posted a clip. Rob, he just posted he posted a short clip of it as well.
So Stephen A. Smith just drops a full video directly calling out Vinnie Oshana from the PBD Podcast. And what makes this even crazier is the PBD Podcast crew were mid-recording when this dropped, and they caught Vinny's reaction live on the show. Let's take a look and see how it all unfolds.
If you just go on YouTube, he posted a short clip of the clip. Like, just go to his channel right there where you are. Just go to his channel, and right there, my response. So this is towards Vinny. Vinny, brace for impact. And it even plays your clip of what you said. Okay. Let's hear this. Go for it, Rob.
Now let me spend the rest of my time getting into the Patrick Bet David, folks, all right? This is before we get to your tweets. I want to address some sound that I heard from the Patrick Bet David podcast regarding yours truly and my chances as a potential presidential candidate. Listen to this, please.
I like Stephen A. I like the sports talk, and you know, he's a great freaking. He's the best in the.
You're not with it. You're not.
I'm not.
Just because he didn't vote for Trump.
Not vote. No, it's the flip flop of every single person.
You're calling Stephen A. the flip flopper.
Every single one of these guys that were on the left. Every guy's go now from the Chanks to the Stephen A's to the Chris Cuomo's to all these people. I'm not buying it at all, okay? And you say this all the time, it's the market. What does the market want? They're shifting because of the market. Listen, with all due respect, I'm not buying none of that shit from none of them, okay? Because they were still on Kamala, True. They were still on Biden, True. They're still on that anti-American bullshit sentiment. Because if you want to put in people like Biden and you want to put in people like Kamala, if you voted for Kamala Harris,
which you did,
what the hell do you even stand on? What was your thing? Just not Trump. So it just shifted. All that Trump hating, he's the worst, he's Hitler. I'm not saying Steven said this, but all of them were anti-Trump. We've been saying Trump is this guy since when? Since 2016, we've had this guy's back. And it's not just blind loyalty, Tom. It wasn't that. It was the proof in the pudding. He came in with Russia collusion, Obama and all these guys freaking spying on him. He had all this shit. He had COVID. He had all this stuff, a Russian asset, all that bullshit Putin talk, all right? And then now he's back.
Robert,
everybody voted for him. Kyle, have I said anything wrong?
So Vinny starts off going in hard on Stephen A. Smith, saying that he's a flip-flopper. And then just like the rest of them, like Chris Cuomo's, the TYTs, and all of them, he accuses Stephen A. Smith of shifting his political opinions just to fit the market. He claims that people like Stephen A. Smith used to support Biden and Kamala and all that so-called anti-American sentiments. And while Vinny says it is not personal, he's clearly trying to box in Stephen A. Smith in another self-leaning opportunist way. But what does Stephen A. Smith does? He doesn't dodge it. He doesn't deflect. He pulls up. And we about to get into his reaction next.
Go ahead.
Respectfully, specifically on this particular topic, I don't give a shit what you give a shit about. I'm going to say it twice so we know that I wasn't stuttering. I don't give a shit what you give a shit about as it pertains to this particular subject. Because the one here that is at least somewhat wronged, but clearly devoid of empathy or compassion or understanding is you.
In other news, Florida residents are going to be here.
I don't have. Do we have to watch a commercial? You don't have the what? Oh,
Before I get any further,
that was a nice little promo to Miami.
I love Vinny. I do.
Yeah.
As I do Adam, as I do Tom, as I do Patrick Bet Davis. And in the interest of full disclosure, before I get any further, I got a lot of love for them and their podcasts, but I got a lot of love on a personal level for a guy by the name of Patrick Bet David, the leader of that crew, who's become a great friend and somebody that has helped me, and I'll put it out on Front Street. He was one of the people that I was receiving advice from when I was negotiating a couple of my contracts.
That's awesome.
So I have a personal affinity and affection for that man, and Adam too. And Adam, I got love for Adam too. Boy, that's it. It's in there. Like,
We go out in these streets.
Could you calm down? Please?
You think the Vinny? Yeah.
Because you act like we had to have voted against Trump for the specific reasons that you're articulating.
Good word.
The border is a primary issue with you. We understand that. So how could anybody possibly vote for Kamala Harris? Well, what if their issue wasn't the border? What if their issue was avoiding chaos? What if their issue was not wanting a president in office that was willing to pad his own wallets and his own coffers while being the statesman that sits in the presidency of the United States of America? What if the priority wasn't safety in the streets? What if the priority was that they were for woke culture? There's a bevy of reasons. Why are you acting like everybody has to be a monolith, like they have to be of one set of thinking and of one mind in order to vote this way? I watched the whole episode with you and Patrick Bet-David and Adam and Tom. Patrick Bet-David, PBD, the man himself, asked you specifically, all three of them, what was your top two priorities for the election? Each of y'all gave a different answer.
That's right.
You talked about the economy. PBD talked about woke culture. Tom talked about safety in the, the producer, behind the scenes, talked about safety in the streets. Adam talked about the borders. And I forgot what else. And I'm sorry if I forgot the other part about you, Vinny. But the point is, all of y'all had different reasons. It's America. You're going to have different beliefs. So what? So what? Now let's get to me. No, because I'm who you were talking about, that you lumped in with other people, even though I do appreciate you pointing out that I didn't say those incendiary things about President Trump. I appreciate that, seriously. And I got nothing but love for you. We just disagreeing on this particular issue. I'm not monolithic in my thinking. We live in a binary system. There's shit I didn't like about both of them. I have always been against woke culture. I have always been against open borders. I'm totally aligned with Patrick Bet-David on the issue of woke culture and parental influence or lack thereof that the administration.
So Stephen A. goes in immediately goes in firing, saying, I don't give a damn about what you guys care about. He says it twice to make sure that they know he's serious. Stephen A. even challenges Vinny's entire narrative, emphasizing that not everyone's political decision hinges solely on the border or one singular issue. Stephen A. calls out the core flaws in Vinny's argument, expecting everyone to think the same way is a crazy way to think. And even throughout his whole critique, he even says he gives them respect. Stephen A. makes it clear that he respects Vinny, Patrick Bet-David, Tom, and Adam from the PBD Podcast. He even reveals that Patrick Bet-David even helped him with a personal career vice. Stephen A. insists he won't pretend to agree simply to avoid conflict. He reaffirms that he's been consistent against woke culture and open borders, but that doesn't clarify that disagreeing with Trump doesn't invalidate those stances.
Like about both of them. I have always been against woke culture. I have always been against open borders. I'm totally aligned with Patrick Bet-David on the issue of woke culture and parental influence or lack thereof that the administration and the left were trying to impose upon the will of the American people. How dare them? They were wrong.
Rob, you can pause
I
at
didn't-
this point.
Okay.
By the way, he's on fire.
I love it. And he's the one that said, calm down to me. He said, calm down. He's about to have a heart attack. Yeah, you're calm down now, boy, for this. And again, Steven, I love you too, bro. And again, when I see you, it's all good. But you were against all that. You were against that. You were against the border. You're against the woke culture. But where were you at for the 4 years? I'm just very curious. I'm hoping you could articulate. Where were you for those 4 years? You were just on the sideline. You weren't saying anything. You said on this show that you would rather have a president with dementia than Trump. Think about what that says. And now we're seeing everything that happened with all the policies and everything with him. And it's fine. We all have different opinions. We all see different things. But my question is, where were all these people at? You, Cuomo, everybody. Now it's cool to talk positive about Trump. Everybody's loves Trump. You've called Trump a racist, a sexist, multiple times on air. You said Trump being president would be dangerous and would put Americans at risk. Have you apologized for all those things that you said? For making all these people worried that Trump was going to be this guy? Like, and then
Wait,
you
does
also,
a voter have to apologize? Does a voter, hang on, he said some people didn't want chaos, and it sounded like Stephen A. was talking about that was his issue.
people
Didn't want chaos, but didn't even is more than a voter, Tom. He's like, yeah, go ahead, voter with a massive megaphone.
Well, guess what? We all are, many of us are, right?
Not many. A few of us are.
Well, there's an awful lot of people that are in the pod space where that the megaphones and the influence is a hell of a lot bigger than mainstream media. And thank God we have the freedom of speech that for that ecosystem to have grown up.
True, but
does Stephen A. have to apologize for saying I didn't want chaos or I was objectively reacting to this? I don't think.
So in this response from Stephen A. Smith to Vinnie Oshana from the PBD Podcast, Stephen A. clearly demonstrates the difference between an emotional response and a thoughtful thinking response. Stephen A. Smith approaches the show with maturity and clarity arguing points clearly without resorting to any shouting or disrespecting anybody. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Stephen A. Smith handled it perfectly, or does Vinny have a point? Leave your thoughts in the comments and hit that like and subscribe button.